It crashed into fragments against a metallic wall, and Costigan, entering the vessel, consigned its erstwhile crew one by one to the already crowded waters of the lagoon. He then leaped to the controls, and drove the captured speedster through the air, to plunge it down upon the surface of the lagoon beside the door of the isolated structure which had for so long been his prison. Carefully he transferred to the vessel the motley assortment of containers of V2, and after a quick check-up to make sure that he had overlooked nothing, he shot his craft straight up into the air. Then only did he close his ultra-wave circuits and speak. "Clio, Bradley, I got away clean, without a bit of trouble. Now I'm coming after you, Clio."
"Oh, it's wonderful that you got away, Conway," the girl exclaimed. "But hadn't you better get Captain Bradley first? Then, if anything should happen, he would be of some use, while
"I'll knock him into an outside loop if he does," the captain snorted, and Costigan went on. "You won't need to. You come first, Clio, of course. But you're too far away for me to see you with my spy, and I don't want to use the high-powered beam of this boat for fear of detection, so you'd better keep on talking so that I can trace you."
"That's one thing I am good at," Clio laughed in sheer relief. "If talking were music, I'd be a full brass band." And she kept up a flow of inconsequential chatter until Costigan told her that it was no longer necessary, that he had established the line. "Any excitement around there yet?" he asked her then. "Nothing unusual that I can see," she replied. "Why? Should there be some?" "I hope not, but when I made my getaway I couldn't kill them all, of course, and I thought maybe they might connect things up with my jailbreak and tell the other cities to take steps about you two. But I guess they're pretty well disorganized back there yet, since they can't know who hit them, or what with, or why. I must have got about everybody that wasn't sealed up somewhere, and it doesn't stand to reason that those who are left can check up very closely for a while yet. But they're nobody's fools. They'll certainly get conscious when I snatch you, maybe before. There, I see your city, I think." "What are you going to do?"
"Same as I did back there, if I can. Poison their primary air and all the water I can reach."
"Oh, Conway!"
Her voice rose to a scream.
"They must know! They're all getting out of the water and are rushing inside the buildings as fast as they possibly can."
"I see they are," grimly. "I'm right over you now, way up. Been locating their primary intake. They've got a dozen ships around it, and have guards posted all along the corridors leading to it, and those guards are wearing masks. They're clever birds, all right, those amphibians. They know what they got back there and how they got it. That changes things, girl. If we use gas here we won't stand a chance in the world of getting old Bradley. Stand by to jump when I open that door."
"Hurry, dear. They're coming out here after me."
"Sure they are." Costigan had already seen the two Nevians swimming out toward Clio's cage, and had hurled his vessel downward in a screaming power dive. "You're too valuable a specimen for them to let you be gassed, but if they can get there before I do, they're traveling fast." He miscalculated slightly, so that instead of coming to a halt at the surface of the liquid medium, the speedster struck with a crash that hurled solid masses of water for hundreds of yards. But no ordinary crash could harm that vessel's structure. Her gravity controls were not overloaded, and she shot back to the surface, gallant ship and reckless pilot alike unharmed. Costigan trained his key tube upon the doorway of Clio's cell, then tossed it aside. "Different combinations over here," he barked. "Got to cut you out. Lie down in that far corner." His hands flashed over the panel, and as Clio fell prone without hesitation or question, a heavy beam literally blasted away a large portion of the roof of the structure. The speedster shot into the air, and dropped down until she rested upon the tops of opposite walls still glowing semi-molten. The girl piled a stool upon the table and stood upon it, reached upward, and seized the mailed hands extended downward toward her. Costigan heaved her up into the vessel with a powerful jerk, slammed the door shut, leaped to the controls, and the speedster darted away. "Your armor's in that bundle there. Better put it on, and check your Lewistons and pistols. No telling what kind of jams we'll get into," he snapped, without turning. "Bradley, start talking." "All right, I've got your line. Better get your wet rags ready and get organized generally. Every second will count by the time we get there. We're coming so fast that our outer plating's white hot, but it may not be fast enough at that." "It isn't fast enough, quite," Bradley announced calmly. "They're coming out after me now." "Don't fight them, and probably they won't paralyze you. Keep on talking so that I can find out where they take you." "No good, Costigan." The voice of the old space flea did not reveal a sign of emotion as he made his dread announcement. "They have it all figured out. They're not taking any chances at all. They're going to peril—" His voice broke off in the middle of the word. With a bitter imprecation, Costigan flashed on the powerful ultra-beam projector of the speedster, and focused the plate upon Bradley's prison, careless now of detection, since the Nevians were already warned. Upon that plate he watched the Nevians carry the helpless body of the captain into a small boat, and continued to watch as they bore it into one of the largest buildings of the city. Up a series of ramps they took the still form, placing it finally upon a soft couch in an enormous and heavily guarded central hall. Costigan turned to his companion, Clio, and even through the helmets she could see plainly the white agony of his expression. He moistened his lips, and tried twice to speak, tried and failed, but he made no move either to cut off their power or to change their direction.
"Of course," she approved steadily, "we are going through. I know that you want to run with me, but if you actually did it, I would never want to see you or hear of you again, and you would hate me forever."
Hardly that. The anguish did not leave his eyes, and his voice was hoarse and strained, but his hands did not vary the course of the speedster by so much as a hair's breadth. "You're the finest little fellow that ever waved a plume, and I would love you no matter what happened. I'd trade my immortal soul to the devil if it would get you out of this mess, but we're both in it up to our necks and we can't dog it now. If they kill him, we beat it. He and I both know that it was on the chance of that happening that I took you first, but as long as all three of us are alive, it's all three or none."
"Of course,"
she said again, as steadily, thrilled this time to the depths of her being by the sheer manhood of him who had thus simply voiced his code, a man of such fiber that neither love of life nor the infinitely more powerful love of her which she knew he bore could make him lower its high standard.
"We are going through. Forget that I am a woman. We are three human beings, fighting a world full of monsters. I am simply one of us three. I will steer your ship, fire your projectors, or throw your bombs. What can I do best?"
"Throw bombs," he directed briefly. He knew what must be done were they to have even the slightest chance of winning clear. "I'm going to blast a hole down into the auditorium, and when I do, you stand by that port and start dropping bottles of perfume. Throw a couple of big ones right down the shaft I make, and the rest of them most anywhere after I cut the wall open. They'll do good wherever they hit, land or water."
"But Captain Bradley, he'll be gassed too."
Her fine eyes were troubled. "Can't be helped. I've got the antidote, and it'll work any time under an hour. That'll be lots of time. If we aren't gone in less than 10 minutes, we'll be staying here. They're bringing in platoons of militia in full armor, and if we don't beat those boys to it, we're in for plenty of grief. All right, start throwing." The speedster had come to a halt directly over the imposing edifice within which Bradley was incarcerated, and a mighty beam had flared downward, digging a fiery well through floor after floor of stubborn metal. The ceiling of the amphitheater pierced, the beam expired, and down into that assembly hall there dropped 2 canisters of V2, to crash and to fill its atmosphere with imperceptible death. Then the beam flashed on again, this time at maximum power, and with it Costigan burned away half of the gigantic building. Burned it away until room above room gaped open, shelf-like, to outer atmosphere, the great hall now resembling an oversized pigeon-hole surrounded by smaller ones. Into that largest pigeon-hole the speedster darted.